And we're live, and the doorbell's just going. There's somebody at the door. So we've just ordered some drinks, and Mark is just going to pick them up. So you're with me for the moment. We are running a little late, but that is totally my fault. I had to go and do a couple of things. I hope you like my ears tonight. I picked these up obviously in the States, and I really like them. Hey Minnie, how are you? So glad you could join us. It's been so long. How's school? It's a Friday. So have you finished for the day, or are you still at school and you're joining us in your lunch hour or on break? And I hope you're well. I love your ears, Kelly. Yes, I know, right? I really love these ones. I almost didn't get them. We were in Disney, as you know, and I saw a couple of these ones around, and I thought, oh, do you know what? I'm going to get them. Like the horns. I love them, right? They're so cute. So yeah, I picked them up, and yeah, and I've loved them ever since, really. So yeah. Um, but well, I can't remember which park I was in actually, and I remember I went to another park, and the lady said, "Oh, I love your horns." I said, "I know, right? They're so good." School is good, and my semester is over. And the new one starts next week, Thursday. Wow, 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 wow. How are you getting on in your animations class? Is it going well? Or was that just for that semester? Are you taking it up again? And you must send us some of your work because your work was fantastic before you took the class. So I'd like to see how you're getting on now. Um, so like I said, Mark's just doing the drinks. What's everyone been up to, or what is everyone getting up to this weekend? We have made no plans. Do you know what? We haven't done anything for the last few weeks. Oh, it hasn't started yet. It starts next week, Thursday. Oh, right. Oh, I see. I thought you were doing a different animations class. Maybe I got confused, but I thought you were doing one before. But anyway, I hope you enjoy. If it's going to start this semester, I hope you really enjoy it. I'm sure you will, and I'm sure you're going to be really good in the class. Um, yeah, so I'm thinking about starting up a couple of classes myself. So I've been looking into a few classes. I'm not sure which ones I want to take, and you know what? I feel like I need to do a bit more reading, and in my mind, my game is coming to an end. I think it's Monday. Monday's the last day, and then the Wizards Unite, that is, and then it's finished. So I thought to myself, do you know what? I really want to get back and do some reading. So I started the magician. Now I read the magician before. I'm thinking of getting a few things for my locker, like magnets and a few pens and such, because we're getting our lockers back next week, uh, Thursday too. I'm so excited. Do you know what? I bet you're really excited. But we never had. We did have lockers at school. I can't even remember, but because we were in two different buildings when we had lockers, and I never really kept much in there because we needed our school books for homework. We oh God, we did have lockers, but it was so long ago. But I think our ones were wood lockers. They weren't even metal lockers, so you couldn't hang like things on there. You couldn't like hang magnets and things like that on there. But thank you very much. It's not as popular as it is, in Canada and the States to have lockers and
Oh,
stuff.
Minnie, hello.
But I think they might have them more now for school kids here, in the UK.
How are you, Minnie? You good? I'm not going to ask about your course because Kelly's probably already done that. But I hope your course is going well. How is your course going? No, I am going to ask. I said I wasn't going to ask, but I am going to ask. Are you having good fun? It's really good to see you back on the channel.
Yeah.
Oh, do you like my sweat? So I've gone for the Beetlejuice. Kelly bought me this actually for Christmas, so I've decided to go wear it today. My little Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice. Nobody says the B word.
And of course, we've got our Starbucks.
So is it going well? How is the animation going? Are you enjoying it?
She says it starts next week, actually.
Oh, next
I thought
week.
she had been doing it.
Yeah, I thought you had been doing it. But I know you have been doing animation probably yourself.
Yeah, I know you've been because you sent us a couple of things.
Yeah.
But we've yet to put it on our banner because we really want to put it on our banner. And Mark's been so busy with schoolwork and stuff because you've been doing college work.
I'm too old for school.
School, college, it's all the same thing, right? But he's been so busy, he's not been able to. So you're trying something different, are you?
So this is the Starbucks meat-free burger. So it's the Beyond Meat sandwich, and it does look like.
Is it warm?
Yeah, it is, Phil.
Oh.
Like a cheesy burger.
Oh yeah.
It's very much like a cheap burger, really.
Yeah.
Mm.
Is it good?
Me says, yeah, our first semester finished, and the next one starts next week. I'm getting my luck about also on Thursday. Okay. Happy May the 4th. Sahinas, hello. Good evening, Mark. Lots of love from Sahinas from India and all friends.
How Sahinas?
Sahinas, how are you? You well?
I got to say, that burger tastes like a real meat burger. I'm not gonna lie.
It does say that's definitely meat free.
Yeah, but it does taste like a meat burger. Like the first burger that I've tasted, that tastes like a plant-based burger. That tastes like a meat burger, because Mark gets a couple of meat-free burgers. But if that is a plant burger, I've got to say that's the best Beyond Meat plant burger I've ever had.
So this is a vegan plant burger. Well, not vegan, because it's got cheese in it. But yeah. Oh, fine. Kelly, you always look great.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, Sahinas, thank you for the like as well.
Thank you. I'm running out of headbands now. I've only got one more now that I can wear. That's not in that's not, in a season. The other ones are all seasonal.
Yeah, I do like that one though.
Yeah.
Is it Maleficent?
Yeah, I think so. I think this one is Maleficent. If it's not Maleficent, it's what's her name? From The Little Mermaid. The villain in The Little Mermaid. The lady with the grey hair. Who takes away her voice? The witch who takes away her voice.
I've not seen it.
So yeah.
So what's the latest video, Sahinas? I've not checked your channel recently. I do apologise, but I will have a little look.
You've been quite busy with college work.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of college work recently, so I have not had a chance to check much YouTube at all.
No, but you've been doing college for what? Is this your second year now?
No. Well, yeah,
moving into your second year. Yeah. So we've had problems with our boiler. Oh, it's been cutting out and all sorts. So finally, the guy came round to have a look at it, and it needs flushing. So we've got to clear out the whole system. I'm just like, oh my God. But in the mornings, when we've been getting up to have a shower, it's gone from hot, then to cold, then hot, then cold. And I feel like this morning I had a cold shower, and but luckily he came today. This morning's been the first time I've actually had a pure cold shower, because it started at the very beginning and then the rest of it was just cold shower. This was the first time that this was the first time through the duration. It's been going on about 3-4 weeks now, has it?
Yeah, it's been going on for a while. Oh, Sahina says, Mark, which place you staying? My wish is to come to you and make some food videos with both of you. That would be great, actually, a collab. So we live in South London.
Yeah.
We're South London. So we are, how would you describe it? 45 minutes from the centre?
Yeah.
So about 45 minutes from the centre. And whereabouts, I always ask you this and I always forget, whereabouts in India? We were talking about you in the last live, actually, because Mark is going to go, another Mark is going to go to Goa on holiday. So we wanted your advice. Have you been to Goa? And if you have, what's it like?
Yeah.
Now, Minnie said, yes, that's the Maleficent one. I can also tell with my friend, it has those ears too.
Yeah.
They got them when they got my ears a few years ago, and that's why I love yours so much.
Oh.
Minnie also said, my friend is a really big Maleficent fan.
Oh, wow.
So that's how I know, and the horns it'll give away too. Now, do you know what? The Maleficent one, actually, I watched Maleficent for the first time over Christmas. The first one. The movie with Angelina Jolie. And I thought it was quite good.
Yeah, it was quite good. Yeah, we haven't watched the second one.
No, we haven't watched the second one. So have you seen Maleficent 2?
Don't tell us about it.
No,
though,
but would you recommend it?
I want to watch it.
And did you like it? Yeah, we haven't got around to watching Maleficent 2, but we would like to do. So I'm going to have another bite of this. You carry on. So
Mark got that, but I got my classic, old classic, which is the almond croissant. And I really like the almond croissant because I really like the almond cream that's in it. I really, really enjoy it. So, and they run out of it so quickly. I must find out how to make it from scratch. Oh, do you want to show them our thing of the week that we found?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actual fact, I'll wait a little bit because I don't think either Sahinas or Minnie can get it.
No, they can't.
So Minnie said, I have seen them, and I do have to say, I've seen them and found them entertaining, and would watch the second one as well. Okay, thank you for your little tip there.
Okay, so I need to. I think I downloaded it already on Sky.
Okay, we'll have a little watch of that as well.
But yeah, I really love almond croissant. What is your favorite bakery item? What's your favorite bakery item?
Well, actually, this is a good one. So bakery item as well. Sahinas, you will be an expert on this because you have done quite a few baked goods on your channel. I do remember the cheesecake you did. And also as well, I did like there's a lot of dishes I like. The paneer one looked quite good. The pineapple paneer, and I did like the look of you did the cheese straws as well.
Did you do a brownie one? Did you do a brownie one? Yeah,
you did a brownie one as well. Yeah, and a brownie one. So for both of you or anybody else watching as well, what's your favorite baked good? What do you like to bake? Your favorite thing to bake, so bake rather than fry or cook, and your favorite thing to eat baked. So I've got to say, if it's going to be baked, mine's got to be bread. I've got to say, I'm talking
more sweet items like pastries, not.
Oh, that's different. So my favorite pastry. Ooh. Do you know what? I'm gonna have to say it's a cinnamon swirl.
Oh yes, yes, you do love a cinnamon swirl. Hey, Starlight,
hello, and chicken pasty.
Ah,
chicken pasty.
Do you know what? I do like do you know, it's a bit difficult with me and pasties, but I do like Jamaican patties.
Well, I was going to say, actually, that was exactly what I was going to say. Are you thinking more like the Cornish pastry pasties, or are you thinking more like Jamaican like type patties?
Or are you thinking like a chicken bake from Greg's or something like that?
Yeah. Hello, Evelyn.
Hey, Eve. But I'm more talking about pastries. So what's your favorite pastry? I think for me, I really like almond croissants, but you know what I like? Pain au raisin.
Oh, pain au raisin.
Yeah, I love pain au raisin. And I also like, I don't know, because there's quite a few pastries that I actually do, because I even like pain au chocolat. I really like that.
Ah, and Sahina said wrap cheese. You can check out on my YouTube channel.
Oh, okay.
I'm doing that right now.
So, what's everyone else's? Like, I don't know about chicken pasty, because like Cornish, when I think of pasty, I do think of Cornish pasty, unless it's Jamaican patty. I really do like Jamaican patties. I think that they're really nice, they're spicy, but you have to get it from the right people, because like sometimes I've had it where the pastry is not like other pastries that I've had. Favorite thing, bake cookies and cakes and cupcakes. Yes, I like to get them from the cafe. Muffins or cookies and or croissants. Yeah. Do you know what? I like cupcakes, but with muffins, I can be a bit funny about muffins. There are some really good places. There used to AMT Caf, which is just like a little stall. And you normally get them in train stations. They're sort of coming up a bit more now. But you mainly get them in train stations, and they used to do this really great lemon muffin with a lemon curd in the middle. So good, so delicious. But sometimes when you get muffins, they can be a little bit bready, sort of like in between like a muffin and bread, and I don't like those ones. I like the more cakey ones, the ones that taste like cake.
Now, Sahina said roti wrapped cheese. Now, the one, I haven't seen that on your channel, but the one that really interested me was the Arabian orange pancake. So not as in pancake, but a cake in a pan.
Okay.
So, and it's also got, and I think from memory, because I watched your video, and you had the frying pan and you cut the oranges in half, and I think you did them in like a syrup. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that was a video that was we're watching. So that was interesting. So Minnie, your one, now I know you're a bit of a connoisseur with making your own donuts, and you did the moustache donuts.
Well, my whole family love roti. They love roti. And my aunt makes them, and she's really, really good at making roti. But yeah, everyone in my family loves roti. Roti along with curry. They really love it. I've never really attempted making it, but really one day I should attempt making roti. To be honest, but I'm not one. Do you know what it is? I'm not really one for dough. So when I think about it, it makes me a little bit nervous to like knead the dough or to wrap the dough. I mean, it's good with roti because it's flat, so you're not waiting for it to rise in any type of way. But I feel like with bread, it's not really something that I would make. But I would like to try cookies, but again, because it's a dough, I always feel like But again, it's just cutting circles in them, I suppose, or cutting them in certain shapes. So doing the dough and then cutting them in certain shapes.
Yeah, I was going to say actually, now Kelly does an absolutely fantastic lemon drizzle cake, which you guys may have seen on a couple of lives ago. So Kelly actually did the cutting up. Was it? I think it was not last Tuesday, the Tuesday before was live. You did. Was it the Friday?
Or was it last Tuesday? No, it was this Tuesday, wasn't it?
No, you didn't do it Tuesday. You did it. We did it last week. I think it might have been the Friday live. But do check out Kelly's recipe for that as well. Now, Sina says, yes, it's really orange pancake. That's it. I knew, because you did. What I liked about that was because you did the syrup. So you had it in the pancake, and you cut the oranges in half, and then had those in there as well, and then cook them in the syrup. That looked really, really interesting. That would be one I'd like to try on a collab if you were going to do our little joint cook.
And I've always got sweet tooth, so I'm always looking for something sweet.
Absolutely.
But because I feel like with this year, so I didn't make any resolutions, but more promises to myself, if that makes sense, rather than resolutions. So I wanted to try to be a bit more positive and to cook a lot more, because last year I think we were very slack. And we got a lot of takeaways and a lot of this and a lot of that. So I thought, do you know what? I'm going to try to cook a bit more. And that's what I have been doing, actually.
Yeah, you have. And actual fact, like Kelly's things have been really, really nice. You've done curries. Yeah. You've done cakes. And quite a few other bits as well. And very nice they are too. Luckily, I get
some pastas. And some salads and stuff like that. But there is, I want to do, there's a soup that I've seen, but you know what? I don't have a chopper or a puree. And I've been looking online for a chopper and a puree. And then you think, do you know what? It would be handy if it's sliced and it grated as well. And so I've seen these things, but then the cost goes up, doesn't it? So that's the thing. And I don't know, because there's some other things that I want to get. So maybe I might look into something this month and then look into something next month. I'll have to have a little think about that.
So Sahina said, next I will try a mixed fruit pancake.
Oh, wow.
So you can actually do the front. No, don't tell me. I shall watch. And if you come to Goa, she says, just connect with my Instagram. It's all on my video. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So recommendations, guys. From where you are, where would you both recommend? Now, it's a bit different for Evelyn because we live in the same place. Yeah. But Sahina's, where would you recommend in India to go? And Minnie, where in Canada? And Starlight, where are you? I think you said you were from Ireland. So if you are in Ireland, if not, apologies. But where would you recommend for us to stay if we were to visit? So I suppose it's really for a little tour guide.
Yeah. What are your areas like? If you were to go on, like, to stay away in Canada, whereabouts in Canada would you go to stay away? If you were to stay away in Ireland, whereabouts in Ireland would you go to stay away? And then, of course, in India, where in India, what areas would you think, do you know what, this is where I would like to go, or that's where I would go? Where would you go in the UK?
Right, so that's a very good question. So for me, and I suppose this will be for everybody as well, really depends on what you want to see. City break you really got to do London. You really have to do London, the capital. There's so much there to do.
Yeah.
However, if you want to explore a bit more English culture, English countryside culture, I really recommend going to, I was going to say the Yorkshire Dales, but it's the Lake District.
Oh.
Going there. Cornwall and Devon are fantastic, really, really nice places to go. And of course, my little hometown of Bath. So that's one of my always recommendations as well. Bath is a Georgian city built for the Roman, it's a Roman city.
I would like to go to Torquay.
Well,
I've never
Devon.
been. I've never been to Torquay, so that is a place where I would like to go. And I remember when we were in primary school, in your last year of primary school before you go to secondary school, you would go on a trip. And every year before us had gone to Torquay. And when it got to our year, we went to Ripple Down House. I was looking so forward to going to Torquay. We didn't even get to go to Torquay. We went to Ripple Down House. I was so mad.
So Sahina said, Goa is a beautiful place. If you come, I will join you.
Oh,
So
wow.
in actual fact, it wasn't us that was going to go. It was actually Mark, who's another viewer.
Yeah, he's going to go.
However, wouldn't definitely rule it. I would. One of my dreams is to come to India as well. I will join you and come to my place. Is it Odisha? And you can check my Google. My wish is to meet you.
Oh, bless you.
Yeah, well, that would be wonderful. Actually, I've had quite a few friends go to India, and they've had an absolutely wonderful time there. Said it's beautiful, and obviously they've gone to different places.
Yeah, I've had some family members that have gone to Goa, and they said it's beautiful there.
Minnie said where to stay for City Live, and that is Toronto.
Of course, because I've been.
But for night sites, probably one of the outsides of Ontario province, maybe BC, British Columbia, or PEI, or Alberta, or in Ontario. Ontario. There are places like that are nice too. Starlight said, please come to Cork in Ireland. I knew you was Ireland. I got that right. Please come to Cork in Ireland. There is lots of restaurants and hotels you would love.
I really.
Go on. No, I was going to say one of my old best friends was from County Cove. So I don't think that's too far from Cork. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he said it's absolutely wonderful over there. And he said in County Cove, every Wednesday they used to have what they called the English market, which I don't know why he said, because it was just a regular market they would have. But he said he showed me photos of County Cove. It was absolutely beautiful. So yeah, go on.
I have so many friends that are actually from Ireland. One of my oldest friends, Paul, I want to say his family comes from Cork, because I have heard him talk about Cork. His mum and uncles and that do actually speak Gaelic, so they speak it in the house now. So when the mother and her brother get together, they converse in Gaelic. So it's really fascinating.
Well, Cork would love to do Cork. Most Brits, when they go to, I'm not tending to go to Dublin. So I would like to try somewhere a little different.
Yeah, because I think Dublin is meant to be like a mini London, I think.
Okay.
It's meant to be like that. I've never been, but that's only what I've heard from other people. Because when I say, my friend's going to Ireland, because I have another friend who's Irish, and I say, my friend's going to Ireland. They'll go, oh, where are they going? Dublin. I said, oh no, she actually comes from her family come from Kerry. And they're like so surprised, because whenever anybody goes to Ireland, they tend to go to Dublin. But she actually comes from Kerry, and I think it's quite rural in Kerry, if I'm not mistaken. Not quite sure, because like I said, I've never been.
So Sahina says, you both come and I will make some cooking videos and vlogs.
Oh, wow.
Also, you're my guest if you come to India.
Oh, bless you. Thank you. Wow.
It would maybe my best time. Oh, bless you. That's so nice of you to say. And we would love to. You know, you must let us if you do come to London. Let us know if you do come to London.
Yeah, because we'll meet you in London, definitely. Yeah, we'll definitely think about the cooking and stuff like that. Our kitchen's very small, so not conducive for cooking.
If you see any of our cooking videos, which are nowhere near as good as yours,
yeah, nowhere
you will see how small our
because ours like a galley kitchen. Us two can just about get in there. Sometimes when we have barbecues, people want to stand and talk to us in the kitchen, and I'm just like, oh my god, we really need to. You need to go to the living room, or you need to go in the garden or wherever, because there's only two of us, and even then we're bumping into each other. I'm not a fan of galley kitchens, I've got to be honest. when I used to have a flat and the kitchen would be on one side and somebody put I rented out the property and somebody put a table on the other side, but it was really quite good. I mean, I had a table in there anyway, but then somebody moved the table into the living room and then they put a table that they could work on because there wasn't much workspace, but it was still a better fit in that kitchen than it was in this kitchen. This kitchen, we've got all our gadgets out and you then can't have like it's so cluttered all over the sides with all because I use spices and everything, so I have all my spices, all my seasonings, all of this type of stuff, and then there's no room for anything else.
So see how it said, okay, I will try London if I go. I will meet Shore for sure. Good, good. That'd be really good. So that's really good. Thank you, guys. That gives us a really good indication, actually, of some really good places to go.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, it really does help if you know someone from these places.
Yeah.
Chloe, she goes, "Hi, I love the headband."
Oh, thank you, thank you.
How
hey,
are
Chloe.
you?
Hope you're well.
You good?
We love to travel.
Yeah.
It's just that these last couple of years has been so. I think it's been trying for everyone, but I think. I'm hoping now things are starting to
ease off a little bit.
Just calm down a little bit. And I think now governments probably will want to try to push everything to go back to normal, to be honest. I think we've been stuck for the last 2 years feels like so long and longer for us because we didn't even have a good summer. We didn't even have
and Starlight said, "Don't forget you're beautiful."
Oh, thank you very much, Starlight. It's so kind. Thank you. Oh,
You make her cry.
I feel like it's been just so long since we had a decent sort of time. Do you know what I mean? I can't remember the last decent time. It's been so long. It's been like 2 years. But when the summertime comes, I do like to do the lives in the garden.
Yeah, so you may have noticed actually last summer we did quite a few lives from the garden, so we are looking forward to doing that again as well, just being outside.
Yeah.
I don't know how the weather has been with you guys, but it's been very, very cold here this month. January has been an absolutely freezing month here in the UK.
Do you know what? You say that it's been freezing, and we had a week of freeze. We had like a week of a cold snap, and then it was calm, and then another week of a cold snap. But it's changed so much to the times when we were younger, and it used to be cold throughout the whole winter.
Do you know what? I mean, I'm not going to share our age, but I do remember when we were much, much younger, it was cold all the time. Super cold and lots of snow.
Wow, yeah, I imagine that. But is the snow still the same? I mean, do you still have the same amount of snow as you did when you were younger?
Well, Minnie is still young.
I know she's still young, but like let's say 5 years ago, Minnie, because you'll remember the snow 5 years ago. Is it still the same amount of snow? Do you see what I'm saying?
Right. So Hina says, okay, Mark and Kelly, it's 12 noon.
Midnight.
Yeah. Going to rest tomorrow. I will shoot my cooking video with my birthday video. My birthday's on the 31st. Happy birthday,
Shahinas.
And good night. Sorry, have a nice TV. Carry on. Bye, all friends.
Oh,
sleep well. And thank you for coming. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you.
Yeah, we do have roughly about the same size as snow.
Wow,
I think what Kelly was alluding to was about climate change. Just see if had a bit of a dip.
Because with us, like I would say like sort of in the last at least 10 years, our winters have been getting milder and milder and milder and milder. And I can't remember the last time we had a lot of snow. We had some snow last year in February, didn't we?
Listen,
we went to the park.
Our levels of snow are going to be nowhere near.
Oh no, nowhere near your levels. But there was a time when you would have snow days from school and things like that. You don't get that anymore here.
So Starlight saying the same thing. So me too. So can you remember in Ireland? Did you find there was much more snow when you were young? When you were younger, I'm assuming that you grew up in Ireland, but do you find that the same? Is that the same thing there? Minnie said we had snow days last week on Monday and Tuesday.
Right. You see, growing up from memory, I only ever remember having one snow day.
Yeah, Starlight says yes.
Yeah, and what, snow as in it's gotten less?
No, it was more snow when she was younger.
Oh yeah, so it's snowing less. That's how much snow came. Well, that's what I'm saying. But I remember coming, but it wasn't snowing then because it was warm when I came, but then it was getting colder because I was there for 3 weeks. So during the sort of like last week, you could feel that it was getting colder, especially down by the harbour. You could feel that it was getting colder. But I feel like here it's just been getting milder. I mean, to have a mild November is unheard of.
Yeah.
It's unheard of. And I was editing the videos because we went to Brighton, and Brighton is by the sea, so you can imagine how cold it would be by the sea, especially in November. But I tell you, it was cold. Don't get me wrong, it was windy, but it wasn't cold
No,
as
it wasn't
in,
bitterly cold.
yeah, your face was frozen and your hands were frozen, and because we went to New York, and that's the coldest I've been for a long time. That was it, and that was in March. That was 1 March. We went, but it was so mild. It was so warm in England because I was only wearing jumpers outside. I didn't even need to wear any coats that March. It was so mild. But in New York,
Starlight went lol.
in New York, it was just like, and we brought jumpers to New York. We didn't bring no coats.
No, not at all.
And it was so cold. I was so cold. I won't make that mistake again. But yeah, it's so mild. It's been so mild.
So, Minnie, was it Harry Potter-esque? You knew I was going to say that as well, but because of the snow. Whenever I go to Florida, and you've got when you go to the Harry Potter world, you've got the snow on
caps.
the
Yeah, they're all
on
snow
the things. It just always reminds you of that, the big snow, the big snowfalls as well.
But I think, yeah, because when I was reading the books, you have a winter there because he has a Christmas there and all of that type of stuff. And I remember reading the book sort of as it was approaching winter. So like October time or whatever. And whenever it sort of starts to get that, when sort of dusk is coming, that always reminds me of school because you finish school at 3, but it would start to become dusk, if that makes sense. And that would always remind me of school. So anytime if I'm out and the weather starts getting darker, that's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of school and Harry Potter.
Minnie said, "Oh, I wanted to play. It looks magical." Yes, very Harry Potter-like. I loved it so much.
Yeah, I love the snow because I was talking about this. Well, not the last live, but maybe the live before, where I love it when it snows. And I like it when it's crunchy, but I don't like it when it gets icy.
Well, now then, a lot of people much prefer summer to winter because I think they get to the point where people want summer. But does anybody actually miss winter when it comes? Now, I know that sounds a bit weird, but I remember I had an Irish friend of mine many years ago, and then he went on like I say a world tour. He went traveling for a bit. And he basically spent the summer here, and then he moved down to Australia. So by the time he moved, he had the whole of summer in Australia. So basically, he had a whole year of summer. And he said that to me, actually. I remember him saying, "Do you know what? After about 8-9 months, he said, I really did miss winter."
Yeah, you miss
it. He said, the bit I really miss is not so much the cold weather, but it's the coming in and getting next to a fire. He said that bit you do miss. You do miss having the seasons.
I think what I would miss would be the changing of the seasons. And you don't realize how much you would miss it, if that makes sense.
Do you know what? When we went to Florida as well, I spoke to some Floridians who lived in London. Well, there's one guy that lived in London. He said, I really miss the seasons. Because he said, and it's true, if you think about it, if you need that cold weather to make you really appreciate the summer.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing I find as well. If it's hot all year round, you've got no change at all. You do want something a little bit different.
I think what I would miss is not winter per se, but I think I don't know what it is, but I would miss October.
Really?
Yeah.
Like the autumn.
Yeah, because it's coming in and it's starting to get dark and it's starting. And that for me, I feel is the change. I feel October is the change. But I like going away for my birthday in November where it's warm weather because I don't really get warm weather, and It's only now that when we're going away, you think, oh, do you know what? I'm going to go away for my birthday or whatever, and then it's nice to have it in the sun. So I feel like that's quite a good. Yeah, I feel that that's quite nice and that's quite good. But this year we didn't get to get away, and last year we didn't get to get away. Last year, yeah, we had it here both because we were in lockdown.
Yeah,
For
yeah,
both
we
of our
did, we did.
birthdays, we were in lockdown, and then I think this year we went to Brighton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
we
Minnie, did you buy Hagrid's wand?
Because you know I got the Hagrid's wand because I showed
Yeah,
you.
you did, yeah.
I showed you.
I'm just wondering because I think I couldn't remember if Minnie said was going to buy it or did go and get it.
But I would use it as a parasol. I wouldn't use it as a. I would definitely use it as a parasol. So if we were going for a picnic in the park, I would definitely use it as a parasol. When I was editing at, because we went to the open air cinema. I've uploaded that video, so I'm sure some of you have watched it. And I remember it being cold. It wasn't cold during the day because we went in our t-shirt.
Yeah, that's right.
But I knew
Oh my God, that was so
I
bitterly
knew
cold.
as the evening because it was because the year before it was hot well into the evening. But this year I could tell the difference because quite a lot of August was overcast. It wasn't bright sunshine, but it was warm, but it was just a lot of overcast. So I thought, you know what? Let me bring some jumpers and stuff like that, of which I did bring some jumpers and everything. Mark brought his thin jacket. I don't know where he thought he was going with that.
It was August.
Yeah, but
it was August.
But it was cold. So as the evening was progressing, I thought, you know what? Let me put my little cardigan on. Oh, it's getting colder. Let me put my little jumper on. I put my jumper on, and then I had a hoodie. But my mistake was I had left it on the picnic blanket, and all the mist was gathering. And then so when I picked it up, it was a little bit wet. It was not wet. It was just a little bit damp. And Mark was sitting there shivering. I was just like, oh my God, do you want my... I had it on my legs.
So cold.
And then he covered
August.
Regardless of whether it's August or not. I say this to Mark when it gets cold in the house. And Mark will go, no, it's May. I'm like, but it's still cold. We need the heating on because it gets cold.
I refuse to be cold during those months. I thought I'd be cold of the rest of the year.
Yeah, but then in August, look, you paid for it.
No, I know.
We got to get that like
Beetlejuice.
Even when I was in Florida, when we were there one November, and I knew the year before it was getting cold in the evening. So it was hot during the day, but it would get by 6 o'clock, it would get quite cold. So I thought, oh, do you know what? Because I remember the year before I had to buy a zip hoodie. Do you remember the one? Yeah. So I bought a zip hoodie. So I thought, oh, do you know what? This year I'll bring like some cardigans and some jumpers, and I would put one in my bag. And then it got cold, and you had forgotten that it got cold in the evenings. And I said, no, because last year I had to buy a hoodie. So again, I bought jumpers. I think you bought a jumper or something that time.
Oh, yeah, I think so. I had to in the end. It was so cold.
And you bought the hoodie one, the nightmare. The nightmare
one.
Oh, yeah,
nightmare one.
Yes.
The one yeah. So Minnie said, I like the change of the season, so I would miss it.
Yeah.
If I didn't get that for a long period of time. And no, I didn't get the one yet. I'm hoping, I'm waiting for a bit to get it, but first, soon, hopefully I will. Well, hopefully you will get it. It'd be cool if you got it.
Yeah, I hope you do a video. You haven't done a video for a while.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah.
Good to see you. But mind you, we can't complain because we haven't done one for ages. We only just uploaded that one. We've got loads in the pipeline to do. Which we will start slowly uploading. So we've got loads that we film. We just haven't got around to editing it.
Well, I've done 2 of the Brighton ones, but we haven't filmed the... So basically, and I said this in the last live, so we went to Brighton and I've done part 1 and part 2. However, in part 1, we forgot to finish it. We forgot to give our thoughts.
Final thoughts.
Our final thoughts. So I can't truly end it until we've done our final thoughts. So we need to film that. But part 2 is ready. It's already, you've done the thumbnail and everything. It's all ready to be uploaded.
Well, we could actually do that today. So after the live, we're going to try and film the final part of the. So really, basic. We went to a restaurant. We just wanted to give our final viewpoints on it. Now I know it's a while since we've done it. I can remember what the food was like. Oh, I love you guys. Please take care. I'll see you again soon.
Oh, bless you.
Take
Thank
care,
you.
Starlight.
Take care, Starlight.
Have a fantastic weekend.
Yes.
Enjoy.
So yeah, so I think that we need to finish off that. But we haven't done anything, we haven't filmed anything for a while.
No, we haven't.
So we haven't like gone out and done things because of the Omicron variant, which has been mad, and it reached its peak a week or two ago. It reached its peak.
Yeah.
So I think now it's meant to be coming down. So I think,
well, we could review some stuff because as we were saying, Minnie, would anybody watch a review on your umbrella?
yeah,
Could
but
they?
they could. But how long would that be? Would not even be that long.
Well, you can
A review on the umbrella. It's like, oh, here it is. Yeah, so you could do a review.
We need
on
some
that
more
umbrella.
Harry Potter merch for you to do.
Yeah.
You could do your. So, actual fact, you bought the necklace inspired by Minnie, didn't you?
Yeah, and we've shown that. But what I'm saying is, we need to do things.
Yes,
what
I
I'm
know.
saying. Yeah, not because we've shown you like the necklaces and stuff like that. So we actually need to go and actually do things.
Yeah,
now.
that's true.
Unless we're going to get some so we could review some food, but we need to get the food. But we were talking about, because McDonald's are doing plant burgers, but you're not really. I don't know if you're a fan of McD's.
I'll tell you what, guys, we need your help. What do you think our next video should be? So we haven't done anything for a while. Is there anything you would like us to shoot? Is there anywhere you'd like us to go? Or is there anything you'd like us to review? So the review doesn't necessarily need to be food. It could be an object. It could be something you'd like us to see.
Have you seen something in past lives that I've shown you, and you think, do you know what? I'd like to know more about that. And then if we've got it, then I can say, oh yeah, okay, so this is more about it. This is what it looks like. This is what it does. So is there anything that you've seen that you would like to know about, kind of thing? I think somebody said they wanted to know about us getting together and stuff.
Yeah,
like
so
that.
we will do that one.
So we can do that one.
But we could review something.
Yes, I will do my ears, and then I'll talk a bit more about those. And obviously picking them up in the parks and all of that type of stuff.
Yes, but we'd also like to have your ideas. Is there anything that you've seen that we've done that you'd like us to review, or any other cool ideas that we could perhaps do for a video that you'd like to see? I haven't done the cooking book one, but my cookbook ones never do that well, to be honest with you. I haven't done some of the cocktail ones either.
Yeah, I think, do you know what though? I think with some of the cookbooks we can do anyway, but I think with the cocktails, they should be more towards the summer anyway.
Yeah, true.
And I think we'll probably do a few barbecues during the summer. I'll show you how I do my marinades and all of that type of stuff. It'd be good to film outside actually. And a lot more space. And I can show you how I do my marinades, what I use my marinades for. So like different types of meats, and then show you like us cooking them. I think that would be quite a good video as well, because we do quite a lot, I feel, but that's when we do big barbecues. But sometimes even if it's just us, I'll sort of like do different things. But there is an Asian slaw that I want to try, and it's a peanut one, so I really want to try that.
So Minnie said, I was just about to say, I would like to see and know about Kelly's ears, but she said that before I could type it out. I would like a video on that. Well, yes. Funny enough, Minnie, quite a few people have asked for that.
Yeah, I wanted to order a couple more first,
of course,
before I do a video, because there's a couple that I've seen. So I want to order a couple more first, and then I'm going to do a video on them. Yeah.
So which ones are you going to do? We're going to wait and see.
Oh, which ones am I going to buy you?
Yeah.
You have to wait and see.
We have to wait and see. So there we are. Thank you, Minnie.
Yes, I am definitely going to do one on my ears. I've been thinking about that last year, and I wanted to get a few more, and I did get a few more, but there's a few more still that I want to get. And then I will do one on the ears and show you them, and sort of like tell you what they mean to me.
Yeah. Actually, that might be a good thing. So actually, that's a really good idea, because I think with Kelly as well, she can tell the story of where she got them from, or if she bought them or somebody else bought them. and whereabouts that was. And they say that with tattoos, they say you always remember when you had your tattoo and whereabouts you were. Not advocating tattoos necessarily, but I'm just saying you'll always remember when you bought your headband.
I remember one year I really wanted to get a headband that was Epcot. It had the Epcot sort of chevrons on there.
Yeah.
But they didn't do it, and I had seen it on, well, Minnie will know, I'd seen it on the Trackers video, because Jen had it, and she had actually got it from, I think somebody sent it to her, or it was made by, she orders her ears from, there's a specific place where she does her ears from, so they weren't official Disney ears, but I like the official Disney ears. So yeah, so there's been a few that I've seen, and sometimes they never used to do them in the UK, but now they do ship them to the UK. So not all of them, and you can't order all the ears online, because I've seen some in the parks that they don't do online. So they don't always do their full range online.
Well, that does make sense, because obviously to get you attracted and into the parks, they're going to want you to do that. The one I liked actually that we saw, and by saw actually, so we'd gone to Epcot, funny enough, and there was, if you stay still, so if you imagine that there was a big dome on the top, and then you had the monorail which sort of was sitting on the band like that, where my finger is. If you imagine the horns are just the dome, so you know the big dome in Epcot, they had the monorail right on that. That looks so good.
I don't remember that one. Are you sure it wasn't a hat?
No. It's a girl bought them as a thing. But
really?
But I think basically it was one of those ones we hadn't seen, and we checked all the places and they weren't selling it. Minnie said, yes, I love those ears so much. No, not the official, but they are still so nice.
Yeah.
I know exactly what ears you're talking about, Kelly. I love watching the Tim Tracker as well.
Yeah, I do. He's going to do the Great Race, which is going to be on February the 9th, I think. So he's taking part in it again. So I liked watching last year's one. So
what's the Great Race?
They do all these sorts of, so basically it's normally two people, two sets of people. I don't know if they're always well-known people, but yeah, and then basically they have to race around Orlando, but they have to do completing different tasks.
Okay.
So they complete different tasks, and he propelled down the side of a building. And yeah, so it's all of those types of things. So it's really, it's really, really good. So I can't wait to watch that when they do it. But I think there are some other, I'm trying, so basically Mark told us about some other Disney YouTubers to watch. However, because I'm trying to get back into reading, I've not had a chance to have a look, but I don't know if you might have watched the mini with one of them was Adam Hatton, but I haven't had a chance to check him out. And he said another one. I must look back and see what he said. There's somebody else that he said. He said, "All Disney mad like you are." And I thought, yes, Disney mad. But I think I'm really, really missing Disney. So I really want to go. Who were we talking to that said they were going? Oh, was it Neha? Was it Neha said she was going?
Neha's going next year, I think. No, this year to Florida.
No, next year.
Oh, it's next year.
2023.
2023 to Florida.
Yeah. And I really would like to go this year if we can travel, I suppose.
Well, yeah.
If we can travel this year, I would definitely, it'd be more towards the end of the year, I think, because it won't be at the beginning. But yeah, if it's towards the end of the year, I would definitely love to go, to be quite honest. I think it would be really, really good. And I think hopefully things would have hopefully things would have calmed down. That's what I'm hoping for. Anyway.
Yeah, that's the thing. Well, my thing is really to get back to Universal. You know that. Much as I do like Disney, my thing is to get back to Universal. I always remember the time. I've told you this story before, but I always remember the time that I was queuing for the Kong ride, and there was an American guy next to me, and we were talking about the Harry Potter. With the I say the New World. It was new at the time that he just built. And he said, "Oh, I don't know how accurate it is." And I said, "Well, put it this way: I travel, and I did at the time. I travel through King's Cross every day, so it's pretty accurate." And he went, "Really? So he was really impressed with that. I said, "Well, the little ticker thing, So where they've got the names of the stations, they don't have the ticker things anymore. It's all
No.
electronic. But the brickwork is pretty realistic.
The brickwork is pretty good, and so are the adverts.
Yeah.
Plus, they have a busker,
Yeah, which you always get in
which
the
you
tube.
do always get in the tube. The only thing that is not true is where you go in. I think it's in Islands of Adventure. Is it Islands of Adventure or is it Studios? In Studios, I think it is. Yeah, it's in Studios where you've got the mock where the night bus is. And on one side you have a record shop. So basically they've put Charing Cross Road next to King's Cross.
Yeah, well, basically they've just tried to condense all in that small,
Yeah.
which you can understand. So realistically, these places will be very far. Well,
Yeah.
not very far, but they're quite a way away.
Yeah,
apart from each other.
they're far away.
Yeah,
because
they are.
you have one that is in Charing Cross Road, which is near Charing Cross Station almost, and then you have King's Cross Station, which is in King's Cross. So they're
Yeah.
nowhere near each
Yeah,
other.
they are quite far away.
Yeah, they're nowhere near each other. So
But to
that's
utilise space, they're there.
yeah, that's the only, because you've got the Wyndham Theatre.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing that's not true to form, let's say, because where they've got the night bus, they've sort of like done a mock South Bank, if you like.
Yeah.
With the railings and the benches where you sit down and the lamps and all that. You will only get that sort of like walking along the waterfront. So and Charing, where they've put the King's Cross and all that, that's nowhere near the waterfront. So that's the only so they've put 3 landmarks together, if that makes sense. So where you enter the Leaky Cauldron, if you do enter the Leaky Cauldron through Charing Cross Road, I think, on Charing Cross Road. So where they put the Leaky Cauldron, or sorry, where you enter into,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
where
yeah.
you enter into Diagon Alley, is it? Yeah. So where you enter into Diagon Alley, which is through the 3 broomsticks, or is it through the Leaky Cauldron? One of the I'd have to go back and read my books. I haven't read them in so long.
Minnie will know.
Minnie will know. She'll definitely know. So where you enter in, that's off of Charing Cross Road. So they put Charing Cross Road and King's Cross Station together. Then you have the embankment bit, or South Bank or whatever. But normally you get those railings along. So, but because they've got where the Jaws used to be, where the Jaws ride used to be, so they've utilised that and sort of done a mini embankment or South Bank or whatever. So yeah, so they've put 3 sort of different landmarks together. So if you go to London, don't expect to find Charing Cross Road next to King's Cross Station. That's not how it would be. But I have to say the facades and the buildings and everything is on point.
Yeah, yeah.
It really is on point what they've done. And I even like the sort of like how they've even laid out the how they've laid out Diagon Alley. It's really nice. It's really, really nice.
Yeah, do you know, so there is a market in London called Borough Market, and it's very similar to that in the sense of the layout. So Borough Market does have the big trains going right above it, as you can hear them as they go across, and that's exactly what you hear when you're in Diagon Alley. Is you hear as the trains, and that's pretty much based on that sort of Borough Market style. So you've got the market down below with all the big trains going on above.
And if you actually watch our Borough Market, I actually point bits out.
Oh, that's true, actually. Yes, so do watch our Borough Market video. You will see that, like Kelly says, you will actually see that there in the Borough Market bit.
I actually point bits out that are very similar to Harry Potter, to Diagon Alley. I couldn't remember the name. So you'll see bits that are very similar to Diagon Alley. But I love it and I miss it. I think I miss going on holiday in general. I can't wait to go back to Lanzarote.
Oh yeah.
I think Lanzarote will be excellent. And I just would like to go away just to hear the sea, you know, be by the beach or be by the pool, or go on the lazy river. I'd love to go on a lazy river. You've never been on a lazy river.
No, but I've got the sounds of the sea sorted.
Yeah.
As you know.
Yeah, it's not the same.
Well, no, but it fools my brain into thinking it's the same. So for those of you that don't know, my new thing is actually on YouTube. So every night, I've found these on YouTube. There's loads of them. So you've got sounds of the sea, sounds of howling winds, sounds of brooks and rivers and stuff like this. And these things go on for about 10 hours. So what I tend to do is I've got earphones I can just plug in, stick it in my laptop. I have it right next to my bed and I can just fall asleep. And it does sound like I'm right near the sea or howling winds. And it really, really helps me sleep. The problem is I've got to the stage now, I need it to sleep. And there you go.
And there you go.
And there you go.
And there you go.
But really recommend it. Really does help you sleep. If you're having trouble sleep, give it a go. That's my recommendation.
That's the only time I use something like that is when I can't. So if I find like I can't sleep, that's when I will use something like that. So I'll listen to, I don't know, running water or jungle sounds or the sea or something like that. But only when I can't sleep. I don't use it at any other time because I don't want to have to rely on it because I fall asleep pretty quickly normally. But I now sometimes these last couple of nights I read a book, but because I can't concentrate on reading the book, I actually have the audio book going. So I've just started Raymond E. Feist's Magician. I'm pointing it because the book is actually there. So it's right there. So what I do is I have the audio book going and I read along with the book.
Oh, okay.
Which is what I used to do when I was a child. So if anybody knows, there used to be a magazine series and it was called Storyteller. And basically it would tell you all these sorts of like fairy tales and different stories from around the world, like the Emperor's New Clothes or Gobelino the Witch's Cat and all of that type of stuff. And you would it would read along and you would read along with it. You'd listen to the tape, you'd put the tape in, the corresponding tape, you'd listen and you'd read as the tape is reading, and then it'd go ding and you knew to turn the page. But at the moment I'm actually listening to Raymond E. Feist's Magician. Now, a very interesting thing, I read The Magician many years ago. Sort of, I think it was back in the 90s or something like that. Anyway, when I started reading this book, he's actually changed the book.
Really?
Now, because
are you sure? Is it just
no? He says it. No, he says it. He says it in his foreword. Now, I didn't, because I was reading the foreword and I thought, oh, he goes, it took him ages to decide whether he was going to change the book or not. But then finally, after speaking to some people, he decided to change the book because I think the gap between The Magician and the next one, because at the time he'd only written one book. There wasn't a book two because I went to have a look and a book two didn't exist. Many years later, all of a sudden, there's a book two. But it turns out he changed book one. So I don't know if he changed book one in order to be able to write book 2 and 3. But prior to that, he'd only ever written one book, but he's written a few now. But yeah, I remember sort of like reading, but then again, there was the days where internet wasn't really that big at the time.
Why did he change it? Did he give a reason?
I'm not sure why he didn't say it was to write book 2 or anything like that. He just said it took him many years to decide whether he was going to change. So now if you go by the book, you can't buy the original book. Because I thought when I bought them, I was just buying the original work. But no, it's not the original book. It's a new book that he's written. It's the same characters and everything else. He's clearly changed the story slightly, but in what areas, I don't know, because I wouldn't remember that.
No, you wouldn't.
I'm not going to remember.
Not from that long time ago. So there you have. So I was going to say, do you guys use any techniques? And I'm genuinely interested in this because might help me to help you sleep if you are struggling. And do you, like Kelly, do a little read along, or do you just prefer to read as you are?
Yeah, it's only because I've been finding it difficult to concentrate in reading. So for me lately, I played the audio as I'm reading the book because I just wanted it to help me concentrate a little bit in reading the book. So yeah, so I have my Kindle. I don't have a Kindle. I actually have a Samsung tablet, but I downloaded my Kindle books on there.
Okay.
And so what it was, because I've already got the book, and because it's at night and I forgot to bring the book upstairs with me, so I downloaded a sample of the book and then I listened to because the book is actually on YouTube. So I played the book on YouTube and I read the sample book along while so I must remember to bring, because sooner or later the sample will run out and then I won't have any book to, because I tried to listen to it without reading the book and I couldn't concentrate on listening to it without reading the book. So that was something else. So basically I couldn't listen to the audio book. It's not like listening to, like if you're listening to the radio and you have, your DJs talking and all of that type of stuff. That's fair enough. But to try to concentrate listening to a book while you're doing other things or while you're falling asleep, because you don't want to fall asleep listening to the book. Otherwise you have to go back because you've not heard the book.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? So you need to read along with the book, if that makes sense.
No, that does make sense. I thought I was going to ask a question then. I've completely forgotten what I was going to ask you. So yeah, I was going to say, any techniques you guys have had, please let me know, because that'd be really interesting to see. This is working for me, the YouTube thing, by listening in. But if there's anything else you can do, it really does help. I don't know why, but I've really found that helped me sleep.
But do you worry now that you need it as a crutch?
Yes.
Right.
But I think I probably could sleep without it, but it's just one of you just by naturally falling asleep.
Yeah.
But it really does help me relax, I find.
Because sometimes, like with me, it's rare that I get up in the middle of the night. So I don't really get up. There's been a couple of times, but that's literally been once when I had COVID. And I couldn't sleep. And sometimes I'd get up at all hours and then I'd come downstairs because I thought I'd be disturbing you or whatever, so I would just come downstairs. And once another time, but other than that, it's rare that I would get up in the middle of the night and come downstairs or anything like that. Like I said, it's only been like twice. Once when I had COVID, a couple of times during the time that I had COVID, and then once another time, but that was way before that.
Okay.
But other than that, I fall asleep quite quickly.
Yeah.
Never really. I have had sleepless nights, but not nights. You just be one night.
I think it's one of those things, isn't it? If you do struggle to sleep at any one point, that can be absolutely fit, especially if you've got to get up the next day. That is always a killer.
Yeah, I think that would. Yeah.
Oh God, I hate that. It's nothing worse than you can't sit and and I think you stress yourself out because you've got to get up the next day.
Yeah, there's never. I mean, I'm quite good in the sense that I can have little sleep and still get up, and I'd be all right.
Yeah, Kelly can do that. I can't. If I don't have, I don't know about you guys, but if I don't get the sleep during the night, I am no good the next day. I have to have a decent night's sleep.
Yeah,
whereas
for
Kelly
me,
can do.
I can have like 2 or 3 hours sleep, let's say, and I can still get up and still go to work. But by 3 o'clock, I do start to feel tired, but I can still last. But I know in my mind it's only a couple more hours. But the reason why normally is because I've had lunch. So if I go for lunch and then come back, that's when at about 3 o'clock I would start to feel tired. Maybe if I had only slept like a few hours the night before, go to work and not go to lunch, I probably would be able to last.
Although I do know a certain someone just like to have a little afternoon snooze.
Yeah, now, because obviously I'm not at work. So now it is easy to have a snooze in the afternoon.
I'll be there with my headphones on doing work, and then I'll take them off. Someone having a little snooze in the corner.
Because it's easy now. Like I can watch TV or whatever, or be on the laptop working, or, I'm doing something, and then I can just like fall asleep for the afternoon nap.
Define me though. That's one of the things that was so nice. So I had 2 weeks off over Christmas, and I rediscovered afternoon naps. Now I know I'm going to sound really old, but they are amazing. I had to stop them though because I thought I cannot.
Yeah, like for me, I literally only need a nap for about 20 minutes. It's normally 20 minutes. It's not normally half an hour normally. Because when I had a look, I knew I was falling asleep about 2:30, and then I woke up, it was 2 to 3. So I knew it was only about 20 minutes. So sometimes I feel like, and I think they were doing this in Japan, and where they put these sleep pods in the office where you could do like a half-hour power nap. afternoon power nap,
Well,
whatever
no.
it was.
Now, my people sort of turn around and say, well, oh, that's amazing. The reason why the Japanese do that is they apparently officially work the longest hours on the planet on average. So that's why.
That.
So that is why. So basically, it's because of that. And it also is, well, it does cut down on things like people going off sick, and it does cut down on people truancy, well, you know, people going off on sick leave.
Yeah.
Because they can have that nap rather than going taking sick leave.
But I think, you know, when you want to have that 20, because like in a lot of normal places where when you go to work, you actually are in good places, you get scheduled breaks. So there was one place that I used to work at and used to get 15 minutes in sort of like mid-morning before lunch, and then 15 minutes in the afternoon, sort of roughly around 3, 3:30 or whatever. And then you would have your hour break in between. So it was really good to have that 15 minutes to get away and all that. But I worked at another place for years and never got a break. The only break that I had was lunchtime. And I do feel in a working week, when you're tied to your desk, it's really tough not to be able to have and I believe they should be scheduled breaks, because I think then if they're scheduled breaks, you are going to take those breaks rather than working all the way through.
Oh,
It's just so, I feel like, especially when you feel that the pressure's on, or this needs to be done, or that needs to be completed, I think that there should be scheduled breaks.
Was falling asleep at work is a sackable offence. So that's the whole thing. So to have something that can help you out, I can definitely see your point.
Like to go out and get some air or something like that, or, you know, splash water on your face or whatever it is. I think, do you know, there's been times when I've had to do that.
Yeah, I know.
You know, like I've been like so tired and I had to splash water on my face.
Has anybody got a funny story that they're prepared to share about falling asleep, either at school or at college or at work or somewhere that you shouldn't have fallen asleep? Have you ever done that? I
knew someone who everybody had gone to a meeting, and this person had been left to go through paperwork. And as they were going through the paperwork, they started to fall asleep, and somebody was waking them up 3 hours later.
What?
3 hours. I was laughing so much. Yeah, I was laughing so much. Being woken up 3 hours later. That's mad.
Well, the funny one, I'm not going to say their name, but in a place I used to work, and I stress used to work, and this is a true story. One of my old bosses, let's call him John, that's not his real name. I walked into his office. I said, John, can you sign these papers for me? And he was like this. So he was clearly passed out asleep. But yeah, he had his own little side office in this place. So just walked into his door was open.
Right.
So I just assumed, because I saw his back of his head, because I should have realised it was tilted back. I just assumed he was thinking, or just
like what?
As I walked in, he passed out completely. There
are 3 different people that I know who, now this wasn't at work, but it was at a work do. 3 different occasions where, and it's 3 different people, where one person actually fell asleep in a pub in the toilets.
Oh no.
But not only that, got locked in.
Oh no, that's
they
even
actually
worse.
Got locked in, and I don't know if in the end they had to break out.
Oh, you're joking. Because the thing is, though, with a pub, you would have thought that the person locking the door would check everything first.
They didn't.
If you think about it, when the first thing they do when the plane lands at any countries, they check the toilets, they check everything before obviously people live. They want everybody off the plane. So you would think the same.
But yeah, they had fallen asleep in the pub and then had to break out. I'm sure one had to break out of a pub. There was another person that fell asleep in a pub, senior management, by the way, the second one. And I don't know if they fell asleep in the toilet as well. And I think they had to wait for the fire brigade.
Oh God!
To let them out.
Well, do you know what? Actually, my dad was telling me a story. In the offices he used to work in, they used to take on students or graduates, Anyway, it was only this one student was there only over the summer, so obviously it was during midterm time. Anyway, no one thought anything of it because this guy would always turn up to work and he was always the first in and always the last to go home. Always the first in, always the last to go. And they used to say to him, look, you are a student, we appreciate you doing these hours, but you should go home. No, it's fine. I'm fine. Anyway, it wasn't until the end of the summer. It only got discovered at the end of the summer. What he'd done is he was studying in the city. And I won't say the city either, although it doesn't really matter. But anyway, yeah. He lived elsewhere. He lived in another part of the country. So they thought he was renting a property whilst he was living in the city in the office. No, actually, what he was doing is he was living in the office. So what kind of existence? So basically, what would happen is he couldn't leave the office in the evening because they would lock all the doors at the end. So what he had to do, he had to play this game because they caught him eventually. And what was happening is he'd have to play this game. So when the office is sort of shut down, you get the odd late worker to about 7 o'clock. So he'd have to pretend he's working. And then a janitor would go, or a caretaker would come round and check. So he basically had to play this game where he followed the janitor so the janitor wouldn't see where he was. The janitor would then think, I'll check this room. And then he'd then have to sneak into that room because it's already been checked. And he'd check another room. And he'd have to follow these rooms because he would do it then a second check. And he'd right, yeah, I'm happy with that. Then he would lock the building door. And that's it. He's locked in for the evening. So he'd sleep under one of the desks. But because they had showers, he could then shower there. And what he would do on his lunch break was take his stuff to the dry cleaners and then pick it up a couple of days later because he could only do this during the lunch. The worst thing is, though, was at the weekend, he had to spend the entire weekend. So from Friday evening up till Monday morning, locked in the building because they locked it over the weekend. So he could not leave that entire weekend.
I knew someone who, well, actually, this was only rumor. So I don't know if this actually happened or not. But again, young person working, and things were moving, or certain things were going missing, and we didn't know what was going on. And it turned out that this person, now again, only rumor because I don't know if this happened or not. There were all sleeping things under his desk.
Oh, right.
And so but the person was let go in the end. Yeah, they let the person go in the end. But yeah, again, sleeping in the office.
I have heard of it, and there's been another place I worked at as well where they didn't do it all the time, but they did have a sofa in the office, in the staff room, and this guy would go out drinking, and if it was really late at night, he had the keys to the office, so he'd let himself in and just sometimes in the morning you walk in.
Just pay for a hotel.
Well, no, it was free, isn't it? So have you guys got any stories like that? Have you ever spotted anybody falling asleep at college, at school, or at work? Is there anybody that you've heard have actually slept on the premises? Have you yourself done it?
No, I've got to say, I've never fallen asleep. There's been times when I've been stuck at the screen and I've been like this.
No, do you know what, Asha? I did get into a really bad habit of doing that. One of my old places in the common room, and it was at lunchtime, but I used to go for a nap. And that really made a difference, actually.
Yeah, it does.
It really does. I was so alert in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So it really did help. But of course, it doesn't always look good that, even though it's on your lunch break.
No, there were times when there was one place that I did used to work at, and it was in a switch room, where they did allow you to have like 10 or 15 minutes if you wanted to sort of like, but obviously you'd be in your own chair sort of like doing that. You sort of like take 10, 15 minutes. But it wasn't really, it wasn't a restful type of, because anybody could just walk in and stuff like that. But there was another place, again, when I used to work in the switch room, this was a different place, where there was a lady, and she used to get really bad pains, and she would bring her blanket and everything and just sort of like lay her sheet down and whatever and sleep on the floor right there. I'm like, oh my God. But she'd be in so much pain, so
I see.
she'd have to sort of like curl up sort of thing. But yeah, so it's just it's so strange when you work in all these different places what you witness.
Oh yeah.
And you just think to yourself, really? It's just like there's just some crazy things that happen.
I must have just worked at boring places because there's nothing that there have been incidences. Obviously some I can't say, but there have been some, but nothing.
Oh, I've known of plenty of incidences.
Oh,
plenty.
Major.
And you always hear about it the next day, or you've either witnessed it or you hear about it and you think to yourself, like, what?
There's always rumours that somebody's done this, that, and the other, but you think, is that true? Did they really do that?
I've witnessed things, and I'm just like, oh my God, do you know what I mean? And you just can't believe that they've happened or that people have done those.
Well, I think things. I know what avenue you're going on there.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Yeah, but like I've worked in many different places. Like, so I think when you work in many different places, you get to see a lot of things.
No, I haven't worked in loads of different places, so Kelly would have done that. Kelly used to work in a hotel, so you would have seen bits going on there as well.
Plenty.
Especially with the general public.
And I was young, and I was shocked. I didn't believe things like that happened. I was just like, oh my God. You know, I was just this young girl who used to bring her magazines and her little Ribena drinks in the little box. And I'd bring my Just 17. And because, you know, I was 17 at the time. So I'd bring my Just 17 magazines and I'd bring my little box of juice. I'd read all my articles. I'd read all these, you know, like these Dear Deirdre, if you like Dear Deirdre, Dear Abby. There was always one of these sort of articles where people wrote in with their problems.
So for you, those of you not familiar with Just 17, I know Dear Deirdre and things that are basic agony, what they call agony aunts.
Yeah, agony aunts. And when everybody used to sign them, so some people would sign their names, but God, there's so many people called Anon. Oh my God, this person's called. How many people are called Anon? Obviously, I was young. I didn't realize it meant anonymous. Do you know, that's how young I was. And working in a hotel was a real eye opener.
Yeah,
I was really shocked at some of the things and some of the carry-ons and all of this. And like I said, all I was this young girl with my Just 17 magazine, sometimes a little smash hits. And I'd bring my boxes of Ribena. I'd learn my song words. And I'd read my little articles and be, why are all these people called Anon? Wow, it's not an original name, this Anon. And you know, it's like that. If you ever watch Friends, like that great old Friends joke with, you know, until he was a certain age, he thought, why do people go to this town called Gunpoint? He was held at gunpoint. That so and so was done at gunpoint. Like, why do people keep going there? Because he didn't realize what at gunpoint meant.
So did you ever write into Dear Deirdre?
No, I never wrote. You
never did?
No, I never wrote into Dear Deirdre. It wasn't called Dear Deirdre because Dear Deirdre was in The Sun.
Oh, was it? I don't
know.
But
I can't remember what the agony aunt's name was. But yeah, it was one of those I say Dear Deirdre because that's the norm. That's what you'd call someone Dear Deirdre. But yeah, I never ever wrote in, but I always read people's articles. There's only one that really sticks out in my mind, which was there was a girl, she was 19 and her boyfriend drowned, and she was just finding it really, really hard to get over. And when you think about being 19 and something so dramatic that happens, it would take you such a long time to get over it. But that's the only one that I remember, really.
Do you know, it's one of those things. The only time I read women's magazines is when I've been in doctors' waiting rooms or dentist waiting rooms. And you sit there and you're just waiting, and the only thing on there are these magazines. I think, I'll read one. And it's fascinating. It's just stuff I never read. So, you know, like you said, Dear Deirdre, you're reading their problem. You think, really?
Yeah. There's two other stories that I read. One was about Robbie Williams, and the other one was about Jason Donovan. Those were the two other Dear Deirdre
Oh,
articles
go
that
on,
I read.
you've got to tell the story now.
Well, it was
if
one.
it was published, you're allowed to.
Yeah, one was she had spent the night with Robbie Williams, and the other was
This is just a stranger.
Yeah, stranger, a young girl, and the other one was the other girl had spent the night with Jason Donovan, and it was really weird because they both spoke to these strange girls about their problems, which were problems that were happening at the time. Like with Jason Donovan, it was about Kylie, and with Robbie Williams, it was about life and all the problems that he was going through and all that. And those were the three stories that I remember.
That's like me writing. So when I was with Beyonce, she was telling me the problems. Who writes in with these things?
Pretty much.
And believes that that's what's actually going to happen.
I don't know, but that's all I can tell you is that those articles.
No. Sure. Did they actually say their name at the end, or did they go anon?
I'm not going to remember their names or that. I didn't. You're so busy interested in the article at the time, but the other ones were anon. Some people would leave their names, but anon only sticks out in my mind because at the time I thought, God, why are so many people called anon?
Oh,
and then I realized much later that it meant anonymous.
So has anybody ever done that? Have they ever not necessarily written in? Well, you may have written in, or have you ever written in yourself, or have you been reading with these types of articles, so an agony aunt type article, and thought, I know that person. I swear I know that person.
No, I've never read an article where I thought I knew the person.
No. Normally, I can't think of one that I have. There's been people, I think I know someone like that. I
remember ringing a newspaper at the time because I wanted to know where New Kids on the Block were staying. And I swear Piers Morgan picked up the phone. I swear it was Piers Morgan. And Piers Morgan would just say it as it is. A lot of people, because he would pick up the phone at that point. At the time that he was working, he would pick up the phone.
So he would have been working for the Mirror at that time?
The Sun.
No, he never worked for the Sun.
Did he not?
He worked for the Mirror.
Or maybe it was.
I don't think he worked for the Sun. I might be wrong, but he was back from the Daily Mirror.
I'm sure he worked for the Sun. I'm sure sure I used to read articles. He's going to check. But yeah, there was a time when I rang up and I said to Bridget, I spoke to him. I spoke to Piers Morgan. I'm sure it was him. It sounded just like him.
Right, I'm going to check this.
And yeah, that was when. Oh, it was News of the World. Sorry. News of the World.
Oh, well, that's a different thing.
Yeah, News of the World.
Yeah,
but News of the World and the Sun were, because on Sundays, was it Sundays News of the World used to come out? So
you phoned up News of the World to try and find out where New
Kids on the Block stayed, and where they stayed, because they used to just let it out. They used to just tell you.
Oh dear, we're showing our age.
But that was years ago. That was years ago when you could listen. This was times before the internet. Do you see what I'm saying? So you would only get your information, but these entertainment places would want you to call them or would want you to think, because they didn't know where the next story was coming from. So people would pick up their phones, and a lot of the time probably be nonsense and stuff like that. But at the time, you had, people were looking for the next story, or people were looking for the next big thing or whatever. So they would pick up, because they didn't know where they were going to get their next story from. But yeah, they told me, and I went to the hotel the next day. And where were they staying at the time? I think they were staying at the Langham, and I went to the Langdon, not knowing where the Langham was. And I remember walking through it, but I remember at the time they used to go to work out at Covent Garden.
Oh, sorry, I'm going to stop you there. So Morgan began his work as a freelancer at the Sun in 1988.
What did I say?
Yeah.
What did I say? It would have been about 91, 92.
Oh, and you're right. In January 1994, though, he became editor of the News of the World after being appointed a job by Rupert Murdoch initially. So, but it would have been earlier than 94, though, wouldn't it? It was in the 80s.
No, it was 91, 92.
91, 92, he would have been at the Sun.
Yeah.
So then 94, he moved to the News of the World.
Yeah.
And then...
It was 91, 92 because I knew, because it was near when I was leaving school.
And then, 96, he moved to the Daily Mirror.
See?
There you go.
And I'm sure, like I said, I'm sure I spoke to him. I don't know if I spoke to him, but I'm sure it was
It's
him.
a good story. Stick with it.
There you go. And you could do that, things like that back in those days. You could ring the newspaper and somebody would pick up, and because you could be telling them whatever, and it was up to you could.
No,
I'm
more surprised they told you. Well,
you mean where they stay?
Yeah, that's what I'm more surprised with that.
But I think you got to remember at the time there wasn't all this GDPR and things like that.
Yeah, true.
There wasn't all of that.
Well, to be fair, it's easy to spot it because the newspapers themselves would be looking where they're staying at.
But no, the newspapers would know. But how would girls? Because that's what they were. There were some guys, but very rare, not very many. How could you then go and stand outside the hotel?
True.
There would be always girls outside the hotel.
So have you ever stalked any? No, I'm joking. I'm not saying you stalked them. Has anybody ever else done that though? Have you ever looked? Has there been a star or a celebrity or someone you really, really wanted to go see? So you've actually hunted them out and gone to look for them and waited for them outside the establishment.
That was the only time that because I remember going. I didn't go to the Royal Langham in the end because they stayed there, and they also stayed at there was a hotel in Mayfair, and I remember me and there was another girl, Bridget, and there was I can't remember the other two people that came with us, and we went to a hotel in Mayfair near Berkeley Square.
Okay.
Not too far from Berkeley Square. There's a hotel just there, and we went and we waited there to see if they were coming. They never came out, obviously, but we ate around the corner. There was nothing there at the time. There was nothing around at the time. Yeah, and that's what we did. But that's what you did as a kid. You went round and you followed the people that you were. But the only other time that I did something like that was we would go to there was these concerts called Smash Hits Pole Winners Party, and I remember one time bringing my cousin with me, and we went really early and queued outside waiting to get tickets to go to this concert. And I remember going to the concert every year, and I remember being on the TV one time, like, because I was at the front and I was just like, because you're like I remember sort of like going to all those types of concerts and watching these concerts and things, and that's what I did when I went to concerts all the time. Smash Hits Pole Winners Party. We went to a New Kids concert. Went to a Janet Jackson concert. Even older, when we went to Vegas, I went to see a Barry Manilow concert.
Well, you dragged me to Boys to Men.
Went to see Boys to Men concert. I remember going to Capital Radio, the one in the park, and watching that sort of like those little concerts. Where else?
That Boys to Men concert. Oh God. I remember.
I'm feeling back again.
Do you know what it was? It's one of those things. I thought I'd sit there and I remember all the songs because they would show them. And I remember sitting there thinking, I hated this song in the 90s. I've got to re-listen to it now.
Do you know what? The other one that I wanted to see, I wanted to go and see Britney Spears. And the year that we went, and I was all ready to go
to
see Britney Spears.
That was funny.
And when we got there, where was she? She was on annual leave. She was in the UK.
She'd gone to the UK. So we come all the way from the UK to Vegas. Well, not specifically for Britney. We just happened to go, and then Teddy wanted to see Britney there. And she'd taken a break and then gone back to the UK. So there you have it.
Do you know what? Because we had gone the year before, or we had gone earlier that year.
Yes, we had.
And I didn't get a chance to see her for whatever reason, because I don't think I even went and tried to get tickets or something.
We did. I'll tell you what happened is we tried to get tickets for you, but I think we were there for a week and a half, and I think the first week they were sold out, and the second week she wasn't appearing. I think we were leaving on the Wednesday and she was appearing on the Thursday.
Right.
That was the reason why.
And so then so I didn't get to see her, but obviously now she's not going to do a residency there, but anymore. She may do. I don't know, but at the time I think she didn't really want to do them anyway. It was all the conservatorship business and all of that, so I don't know much about that.
I don't know.
So I don't know if she's going to go back to Vegas, because I would love to see her in concert in Vegas, because if you ever go to a concert in Vegas, the concert halls are like going to theaters, right? They're not that massive. So you can actually go and sit anywhere in the concert hall and you will have a good view. You will have a good view to watch the person that you're going to see. The other, I would have liked to have gone to see Bruno Mars, but when I went to ask, it was something
Oh
ridiculous.
my God. So when we went to Vegas last time, which was about 3 years ago now, it so happened that Bruno Mars was appearing at our hotel.
The hotel that we were staying at.
Yeah, exactly. So we thought, I said, oh look, but when the price is about $150,
I thought it was even more than that.
No, I think you're right. Actually, went up to about 200. I think it's about $200, which is about £170. Which, to be fair, for a big artist, is about right. Really.
I feel £170 is scandalous. The most I want to pay, and even then I don't want to pay, is £70, and I don't even want to pay that.
But it is
I feel £50 is enough.
You won't get many artists for 50 quid.
Don't I know it?
You won't get many artists for 50.
Don't I know
the
it?
reason being, it's not just the artist only gets a proportion of it, but the rest either goes to obviously they've got to do all those things, security, admin, the venue, it all adds to that as well.
Well, it's the only way now that artists really make money now, because they don't really make money on their records, because you can download it for free. You've got Spotify, you've got that. So artists have lost out in that sense. So they make money obviously on appearances, going here, there, and everywhere, and whatever. And from the record label getting their whatever deal.
Yeah, that's true.
But the reason why, because touring, they used to make they used to make so much money. But of course now, with especially with all the pandemic and everything, the tickets are really expensive to go and see anybody. Because at the beginning, they couldn't have as many people in an auditorium and all of this. They had to do the separation and all of that type of stuff. But yeah, tickets now to go and see something are completely ridiculous. They're so expensive.
No, that's the thing. So I mean, the most I've ever spent on a ticket is £100.
Right.
That's the most I've ever spent on a ticket, and that was to see Metallica.
Right.
But that is the most I've ever spent on there.
I think I would really have to like the artist to spend £100.
Well, yeah, and I think it's one of those things. If you really like the artist, so for those of you who know me, I am a bit of a metalhead. So believe it or not, I haven't got the long hair anymore. But that was my thing. So Metallica, one band I really, really wanted to see. So I was prepared to pay that. But yeah, like you, it's not often I would pay. So you guys, is there anybody that you've seen that you paid a lot of money for? How much and who did you go and see? And is there anybody you would pay a lot to go and see? Any particular artist? I
don't know. They'd have to pop up for me to think, oh, do you know, I would like to see Adele.
Well, that would cost a lot.
But I remember when she said that was her farewell concert. She wasn't going to do another concert. And I thought,
what, 30?
Yeah, when she was young. Yeah, no, before. Yeah, she'd done a farewell concert before that. A good few years ago, she had decided that was when I think she had not long done her throat operation or whatever it was.
So I think Black Sabbath had done about 6 final farewell tours.
Right. So, but because at the time she was young, I thought to myself, well, really, how long are you going to go without singing again? It's quite when you're in your 20s and you make these big decisions or these sweeping statements, you can't really take them verbatim because you don't know your own mind yet. Some people do and they stick to it. But I thought to myself, realistically, she's so talented and she's got such a great voice and her material is so good. I feel, is she really not going to sing? So I left it. And lo and behold, she's come back out again
surprise.
And she's going to do a tour and all
She'll
of that.
do another album. The thing is,
she's done an album.
She'll just get bored. She'll take a break for a couple of years and then get bored.
I don't even think it's a case of that. I think sometimes you are craving an outlet for your creative side. And even I've been through that where, and again, I was in my 20s. And I had given up on the idea of acting. I'd given up on the idea of acting very early because I just didn't feel that there was the support there in order to encourage me or to help me get to. You didn't have, like I said, you didn't have things like the internet and stuff like that. So For me to do
This
acting,
is a long time ago when we were younger.
so for me to do acting and things like that, there wasn't the available help. And acting also was seen as, or any type of craft at the time was seen as unattainable. It's for other people. It's not for you, kind of thing. Other people do that sort of thing. So I felt like, so I had sort of semi given up on the idea because there wasn't anybody to help me or anything like that. And then I got in, so I started working, like I said, quite early, about 17. The later part of 17, I was almost 18. And then so I started working early, and then I got into my 20s, and I thought, oh, do you know what? I'm going to go back to acting again, see if I can do this. So I did. I gave up work. I temped for a bit, and then after temping, I thought, do you know what? I'm going to go back to college. So I did. It's where I met my bestie, Evelyn. So I did college 3 days a week, I think it was, and then I started temping for 2 days a week. And at the time when you're young, you don't mind the temping, you don't mind going here, there, and everywhere, and you've got the energy to go here, there, and everywhere, and all that. You have all of this energy, you have all of this time, and so you do all of this stuff. And I remember sometimes I'd work. There was a no, at that time. No, I didn't actually. Yeah, so I would just temp 1 and 2 days a week. There was a regular place that I was temping, and they loved to have me back. So I would go there most Mondays and Tuesdays. It was only the odd Monday and Tuesday that I would be stationed somewhere else because they didn't need me. But the majority of the time would be at this specific place. And it's nice when they request you back at the same place. So I would go there and temp 2 days a week. So then I went to college for 2 years, I think it was. And at the time, I felt like I was old because I thought, oh, like, all the likes of Billy Piper who started when they were sort of like 14 or 15 or 13 or whatever it was. And there was me in my 20s. And I was just thinking, God, am I past it to be, doing all of this stuff? But again, there wasn't anyone there to help you or to tell you or to say, actually, drama schools rather you be in your 20s because you would be more serious about your craft. I didn't know any of this stuff. All I saw were these young people on TV, all of these bands, and all of these young artists, and they were all early. They'd all been to stage school, or they'd all been to this, or they'd all been to that. So I didn't have enough information, and I didn't understand, and people didn't sit me down and say, well, look, it's this, this, and this. So I did my auditions. So at the end of my course, I did my auditions. I didn't get into school that year, but the following year, I had a teacher who helped me, and I got accepted into the school. I got accepted into Mount View, but I didn't have the money to go to Mount View. I went to several auditions, and I would always get the second round. So there was about 3 or 4 rounds you would have to do, and then it'd be less and less people the more rounds that you did. And these weren't cheap because some of these were like £30, £50. You needed to have about £200 spare in order to do, because you had to pay to do your auditions. That's how the drama schools get their money. And you would save your £200. I was lucky because I was working, so I could apply for a little bit more than the average person. And I remember applying to Lambda and to Central and to there was another drama school in Holborn. And then I went to apply for Mount View. I applied to Rose Bruford, all of those types of stuff. And I remember at Rose Bruford, I didn't get onto the course that I wanted, but they did offer me another course. It was a different course, and I said to them, "Oh, but can I swap onto that course or whatever it was?" And they said to me, "No, you won't be able to swap later on," and all of that. So I didn't bother going. But Mount View, I got accepted there 3 times. 3 times I tried, and 3 times I got accepted into that school. So I knew I had something, because they wouldn't, if there wasn't something about you, and normally the right school will always choose you.
Yeah.
And that clearly Mount View was the right school, but I just didn't have the money, because it was like at the time it was like £10,000.
Yeah, 10 grand a year. That sounds about right, actually.
Yeah.
And drama school now is about that, if not more.
Yeah.
So 1 year can cost several thousands.
Well, Mount View wasn't subsidised at the time. So I knew I couldn't get help for Mount View,
Mm.
but Central was subsidized, and there was another one that was subsidized. Rose Bruford, I think, was subsidized, but I couldn't get into those schools. But the school that I could get into was Mount View, and it was just it was just heartbreaking to be that close and actually not be able to attend.
So that's your thing. Follow your dream. Always go for it as well, because like I said, once now, like you say, you wish you'd gone. So for our younger viewers as well, or anybody really who's trying to do something, it's never too late. Do get your study in, do things, and just go for it.
Yeah, because now those things are attainable.
Yeah,
there's lots of help around. There wasn't when we were younger, kind of thing. There wasn't the right, and the thing was, because the industry are craving men, because not a lot of men. There are more men now, but not a lot of men are in the industry. It's more women. Women want to act. Women want to do this. Women want to dance. Women want to sing.
When I was doing drama class myself, I was going to say in a class of 21 of us, 3 of us were guys.
Yeah.
Including me. So obviously, but I just said, so that's 3 including me, not 3 and me.
So I think that, you know, to do the thing that you want to do, I think is very important. Always have a backup, as in, so if you are going to do drama, have something that runs alongside of that, because you also want something to fall back on. So I think that you definitely need some training in something in case, and it only makes good sense. It just makes good sense to you know, to have something to fall back on, because that's what my family were worried about. They were worried about, well, if you don't make it here, you spent 3 years doing that, you're now not going to, what are you going to do in the meantime? You're not trained to do, you're not, you know. And I think back in those days, that's what they were very conscious of. And I think that you never know, I could have been in the theatre at this point.
Well, do you know what? That's the thing as well, because it's always good. Once you've got your qualification behind you, even if you don't use it immediately, or even for some years, you've always got that behind you. You've always got that behind you.
Yeah.
That's something you can always use.
Yeah, I feel like it's a road not traveled, and I don't mind it so much now. I think the reason why I don't mind it so much now is because I don't have the energy. If that makes sense.
Do you know what? Because I study now with work, and it is difficult. But like I say, there is always that path at the end that it will end at some point.
Yeah. And the only other thing that I can impart to you when you start working, pay into a pension. Whatever job you do and whatever age you start it, the younger the better. Pay into a pension. Pay into a company pension.
We sound really, really old by giving you all this advice.
I was telling my nephew and my nephew's cousin the other day, make sure you pay into a pension, because I wish somebody had given me that advice. And if there's one piece of advice that I can pass off to anyone, make sure you pay into a pension.
Anyway, you've heard it there from your Uncle Mark and Auntie Kelly. Guys, that is it for us today. I'm afraid, for our live. It's been fantastic. As always, remember, we do 2 lives a week. One on Tuesday at 6 p.m. UK time, and our other one today, of course, which is Friday, 6 o'clock UK time. So the next one will be next Tuesday, 6 o'clock UK time, as per normal. As always, please look after yourselves. Have a fantastic weekend, whatever you decide to do. Like I say, we will be back next Tuesday at 6 p.m. Until then, look after yourselves, take care, and remember, you're never too old to have fun. Bye from now, from Mark and Kelly's Trips, Tips and Things. We will see you next Tuesday.
Bye for now.
Bye.